Let's start with something simple. You have 24 hours in a day. Everyone does. From the richest person in the world to the person who feels like they're barely keeping up, the clock ticks at the same pace for all of us. No one gets extra hours. No one gets less. What makes the difference is not how much time we have, but what we do with it. Now, I want you to pause for just a second and think, where does your time really go? Be honest with yourself. You wake up, you check your phone, you scroll, maybe you answer a message, maybe you get lost in a video. An hour disappears. Then you get to work or school, but your mind drifts, you're half in, half out. Another hour, gone. At the end of the day, you wonder why nothing feels done, why you're still behind, why your dreams are still dreams. The truth is simple. It's not about the time you had. It's about the focus you lost. Focus is the hidden power. It's the secret that turns an ordinary day into an extraordinary one. When you learn how to manage your time and guard your focus, you begin to realize that you don't need more hours. You just need to master the hours you already have. Let me tell you a story. Imagine two people, Alex and Jordan. They both work the same job, have the same number of hours, the same level of skill. Alex spends the day bouncing between tasks, checking emails every 5 minutes, switching tabs, answering calls, starting projects and not finishing them. At the end of the day, Alex feels exhausted, but nothing important actually got done. Jordan, on the other hand, begins the day with a clear plan. They work in deep blocks of focus, no distractions, one task at a time. By lunch, Jordan has finished the most important project of the day. By the evening, they still have energy left, and the work feels meaningful. Who do you think will succeed faster? Who do you think will feel more fulfilled? It's not about talent. It's not about luck. It's about focus combined with time management. Here's the thing. Time management is not just about squeezing more into your schedule. It's not about stuffing every minute with tasks. That leads to burnout. True time management is about clarity, knowing what matters, cutting out what doesn't, and protecting your attention like it's the most valuable treasure you own. Because it is. Think about how many times your attention is stolen every day. Notifications, messages, endless scrolling, background noise, people pulling you into things that aren't really urgent but feel urgent in the moment. Every one of those distractions is a thief. And the more you let them in, the more they rob you of the chance to build something great. Now, here's the motivational truth. Your life is not shaped by the hours you live, but by the hours you focus. You don't need more time, you need sharper focus. And that begins with choice. Every single morning, you have a choice. Will you give your time away for free, or will you invest it in yourself, your goals, your growth? Let's dig into this together. I want you to imagine your life as a jar, a big, clear jar sitting in front of you. You've got big rocks, your priorities, the things that actually matter in the long run, your health, your family, your career goals, your dreams. You've also got small pebbles, emails, chores, errands, busy work. And finally, you've got sand, scrolling, random distractions, things that feel urgent but mean almost nothing. Now, if you fill the jar with sand first, guess what? You won't have space for the big rocks. If you spend your life on distractions first, the important things will never fit in. But if you put the big rocks in first, the jar still has room for pebbles and even some sand. This is the principle of focus and time management. Put first things first. Protect your priorities. Let's make this real. Ask yourself right now, what are the big rocks in your life? Maybe it's building your career. Maybe it's your health, your body, your mind. Maybe it's building a family or creating financial freedom. Whatever it is, those big rocks should go in your day first. Schedule them. Protect them. Don't wait until the end of the day when you're tired and drained. Put them in the jar first. But here's where most people struggle. They don't know they're big rocks. They've never stopped to think about what really matters. They live in reaction mode, responding to emails, messages, demands, instead of living in creation mode, where they decide what matters and protect it. If you want to take back control of your time, you need to get crystal clear on your priorities. Now, clarity is step one. Step two is energy. Because let's be honest, even if you know your priorities, even if you have a plan, if your energy is gone, your focus will collapse. Time management is energy management. How you eat, how you sleep, how you rest, how you move, all of it determines how sharp your mind feels. A tired brain is a distracted brain. A healthy, rested brain is a focused one. That means one of the most powerful time management tools isn't a planner or an app or a to-do list. It's sleep. It's exercise. It's knowing when to take a break. It's treating your body like an ally instead of an afterthought. You can't win the battle for focus if you show up with no energy. Now, let's talk about the enemy of time management, procrastination. That word alone makes most people sigh. We all know the feeling. You know what you should do, but you keep putting it off. I'll do it later, you tell yourself. Later becomes tomorrow, tomorrow becomes next week, and suddenly the opportunity is gone. Procrastination is not a time problem, it's an emotion problem. We procrastinate because the task feels overwhelming or boring or scary. The secret to beating procrastination is not more willpower. It's breaking tasks into smaller, doable steps. Imagine you're standing at the bottom of a huge mountain. If you stare at the peak, it feels impossible. That's how big projects feel. But if you just focus on the first step, then the next, you start moving. That's the cure for procrastination. Shrink the task until it feels doable, then start. Progress creates momentum, and momentum kills procrastination. I want you to hear this. You don't have to finish everything today. You just have to start. That's it. Because the moment you start, you build trust with yourself. And when you trust yourself to start, you begin to trust yourself to finish. Now let's go deeper into focus. Focus is not about saying yes, it's about saying no. Every yes you give to a distraction is a no to your dreams. Every time you say yes to scrolling, you're saying no to progress. Every time you say yes to someone else's urgent but not important task, you're saying no to your own goals. So focus is a practice of courage. The courage to say no. The courage to protect your time. The courage to be misunderstood when you prioritize your own growth. People might not always understand. They might call you selfish. But here's the truth. If you don't guard your focus, no one else will. There's something powerful I want you to remember. Distraction is easy, but greatness is built in focus. Distraction gives you temporary pleasure. Focus gives you lasting achievement. And every time you choose focus, you cast a vote for the future you want. Let me leave you with this thought for now. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have flawless discipline every single day. You just need to improve your awareness. Notice where your time is going. Notice when your focus is slipping. Notice when you're giving away your attention for free. Because once you notice, you can choose differently. And with every different choice, you build a different life. I want you to picture a typical day in your life. The alarm rings. You wake up. And right there in the first few minutes of your morning, your day can either be won or lost. How? By what you choose to focus on first. Most people grab their phone the moment they wake up. They scroll through messages, notifications, or the endless stream of news and social media, and right there, their brain gets hijacked. Instead of starting the day with clarity, they start with noise. Instead of deciding what matters, they let the world decide for them. And that is how most days are lost, before breakfast. Now imagine a different scenario. The alarm rings. You wake up, and instead of grabbing your phone, you take a deep breath. You sit up. Maybe you drink a glass of water. You ask yourself one question. What is the most important thing I can do today that will move me closer to my goals? That one question shifts everything, because instead of letting the world control your focus, you take control yourself. This is the essence of time management, intentionality, living by design, not by default. And here's the truth. Your mornings are your foundation. If you win your mornings, you have a much higher chance of winning your day. But here's the challenge. Mornings are fragile. Distractions creep in fast. That's why you need a system, a routine, something simple, not complicated, that sets the tone for the day. Maybe it's writing down 3 priorities. Maybe it's exercising. Maybe it's meditating. Maybe it's just taking 10 minutes to plan your schedule before the noise begins. Whatever it is, protect it. Because the first hour of your day is like the steering wheel for the next 23. And when you steer it with clarity, the rest of the road feels smoother. Now, let's talk about goals. Everyone has them, but not everyone achieves them. Why? Because goals without systems are just wishes. It's not enough to say, I want to write a book, or I want to start a business, or I want to get fit. The dream is easy. The work requires structure, and structure comes from managing your time with focus. Let me give you an example. Suppose your goal is to write a book. If you wait until you have time, you'll never start. But if you set aside one focused hour each morning, no distractions, no multitasking, just writing, in a year you could have a full manuscript. That's the power of focus applied over time. Or maybe your goal is health. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. Just carve out 30 minutes a day to move your body. Protect it like an appointment you cannot miss. Over months, that daily discipline transforms your energy, your focus, even your confidence. You see, focus and time management are not just productivity tools. They are life-shaping tools. They decide who you become, because who you become is simply the result of what you repeatedly do with your hours. Now let's face the modern challenge: multitasking. We live in a world that celebrates doing 10 things at once. But here's the secret. Multitasking is a myth. Your brain is not built to fully focus on 2 things at the same time. What you're really doing is switching back and forth, burning energy, losing efficiency, and making more mistakes. Think about it. When was the last time you felt truly immersed in one task? Hours passed and you didn't even notice. That's called flow. And flow doesn't happen when you're juggling 5 things at once. It happens when you commit to one thing deeply with your full attention. If you want to master your time, stop glorifying multitasking. Start practicing single tasking. Do one thing, do it well, finish it, then move on. That's how real progress is made. But of course, distractions are everywhere. So how do you guard your focus? Let's talk about practical strategies. First, the environment. Your environment either supports your focus or sabotages it. If your desk is cluttered, your mind will feel cluttered. If your phone is buzzing, your attention will scatter. If your space is noisy, your thoughts will jump. So set yourself up to win. Clean your space. Silence unnecessary notifications. Create a place where your brain knows this is where we focus. Second, time blocks. Divide your day into blocks of focus. For example, 90 minutes of deep work followed by a short break. During that 90 minutes, no distractions, no multitasking, just the task in front of you. This is called deep work, and it's one of the most powerful ways to get meaningful things done. Third, boundaries. This one is tough but essential. You need to learn how to protect your focus from other people's demands. That might mean saying no. That might mean telling coworkers you're unavailable during certain hours. That might mean turning off email until your most important work is done. Remember, every time you say yes to something small, you're saying no to something big. Fourth, energy rhythms. Pay attention to your natural energy. Some people are sharp in the morning, some come alive at night. Notice when your mind feels strongest and schedule your most important work in those hours. Don't waste your peak energy on shallow tasks like emails or chores. Use it for the deep, meaningful work that moves you forward. Now let's talk about the emotional side of time management, because it's not just about schedules and planners, it's about mindset. If you believe you're always behind, always rushing, always failing, you'll carry stress everywhere. That stress will steal your focus, drain your energy, and make time management feel impossible. The antidote is presence. Being here, fully, in the moment. When you're working, just work. When you're resting, just rest. When you're with family, be with them fully. Stop letting your mind live in 3 places at once. Time management is not just about doing more, it's about living more deeply in what you do. And here's a powerful truth. Busyness is not the same as productivity. You can fill every hour of your day and still feel empty at the end, or you can focus on just a few important things and feel deeply fulfilled. It's not about the quantity of tasks, it's about the quality of focus. I want you to reflect on this. What are the things you do that actually move your life forward? Not the things that just keep you busy. The real movers, the ones that create change. Identify them, guard them, build your days around them. That's the heart of time management. Let me share a secret of highly effective people. They don't try to do everything. They do fewer things, but they do them better. They focus on the vital few, not the trivial many. And you can too. Let's pause here and think about your future self. Imagine yourself 5 years from now. What do you want your life to look like? Where do you want to be living? What do you want your health to feel like? What do you want your career or your relationships to look like? Now ask yourself, are the choices you're making with your time today building that future or stealing it? Every hour is a seed, and every seed grows into something. If you plant seeds of distraction, you'll grow regret. If you plant seeds of focus, you'll grow achievement. If you plant seeds of intentional time, you'll grow a meaningful life. That's the real power of time management and focus. It's not just about checking off to-do lists, it's about shaping who you become. Now, before we close this part, let me give you one more tool, the rule of one. Every day, choose one task, just one, that, if you finished it, would make the day feel successful. Do that first. Protect it. Focus on it until it's done. Even if the rest of the day falls apart, you'll still have progress. And progress builds momentum. Momentum is everything. Because once you start, you keep going. And once you keep going, your future begins to change. So remember this. The battle for your time is the battle for your life. Win your mornings, protect your focus, plant the right seeds, and your future will thank you. Think about the word time for a moment. It slips away quietly, second by second, whether we notice it or not. You can waste it or you can use it, but you can never get it back. And that truth should wake us up, because every wasted hour is a piece of life you'll never hold again. Now, I don't say that to make you feel guilty. I say it to remind you of the power in your hands. Time is not a curse, it's a gift. Every morning you are given 24 golden coins, each one an hour long. How you spend those coins decides your future. You can spend them on things that drain you, or you can invest them in things that grow you. So let me ask you this, are you spending your hours, or are you investing them? When you spend, the moment passes and it's gone. When you invest, the moment compounds and returns to you with interest. Think of reading a book that grows your mind, learning a skill that shapes your career, building a relationship that deepens your happiness. Those are investments. They pay you back again and again. But scrolling endlessly, complaining, saying yes to tasks that don't matter, those are expenses. They disappear, leaving you with nothing but regret. Here's the good news. You can choose. Every single day, you can decide to spend less and invest more. That choice is the foundation of time management. Now let's talk about something most people overlook. Distraction is not always external. It's not just your phone, your email, or the noise around you. Sometimes the biggest distractions live inside your own head. Worry, overthinking, doubt, regret. These mental loops pull you out of the present and rob you of focus. So how do you fight internal distractions? You practice awareness. You catch yourself drifting and gently bring your attention back to the task in front of you. You remind yourself the past is gone, the future hasn't arrived. The only power I have is right here, in this moment. This is why so many successful people practice mindfulness. It's not just a trend, it's training for focus. Because if you can train your mind to return to the present over and over, you become nearly unstoppable. Distractions lose their grip, and your hours multiply in value. Now let's shift into a different lens. Imagine your life as a business. Every business has income and expenses, profits and losses. Your time works the same way. Productive, focused hours are your income. Distracted, wasted hours are your expenses. The balance of those hours decides whether your life profits or runs into debt. The scary part is, most people run their lives at a time deficit. They spend more than they invest. They fill their calendars with meetings, chores, noise, obligations, but rarely pause to ask, is this moving me closer to the life I want? The powerful part is, you don't need to overhaul your entire life in one day. Small shifts create massive change. If you replace even one wasted hour a day with a focused hour, that's 365 hours a year. That's 9 full work weeks of progress. Imagine what you could do with 9 extra weeks of focus each year. Write a book. Launch a business, learn a language, transform your health, build deeper relationships. The possibilities are endless. Now let's go deeper into focus. Focus is a muscle. And like any muscle, it grows when you train it, and it weakens when you neglect it. Right now, in the world of constant notifications, most people have atrophied focus muscles. They can't stay with one task for more than a few minutes before reaching for a distraction. But you can rebuild that muscle. You start small. Try focusing on one task for 15 minutes without interruption. Then push it to 30, then 60. Over time, your mind learns how to resist the itch of distraction. And that's when the magic happens. You enter deep focus states where hours pass like minutes and your best work emerges. Let me give you an example. A painter sits down with a blank canvas. At first, the brush feels heavy, the strokes are hesitant, but as the minutes turn to hours, something shifts. The world fades, the painter disappears into the work, the art seems to paint itself. That's the power of deep focus. It feels effortless, but only because the artist protected the time and space to let it happen. You can have that too. Whether you're writing, coding, studying, planning, or building, deep focus is available to you, if you're willing to guard it. But here's a truth most people miss. Focus is not just about removing distractions, it's about caring. You focus on what you care about. If you don't care, your mind will wander. That's why it's so important to align your time with your values. When your work connects with your purpose, focus becomes natural. So ask yourself, what do I truly care about? And am I giving my time to those things or wasting it on what doesn't matter? Now let's talk about planning. Some people resist planning because they think it makes life rigid. But planning is not about control, it's about freedom. When you plan your day, you free yourself from decision fatigue. You don't waste energy wondering what to do next. You already know, and that clarity allows you to focus fully. Think of your day like a map. Without a map, you wander aimlessly. With a map, you move with direction. That doesn't mean you can't adjust if things change. Of course you can. Flexibility is important. But the map keeps you moving forward instead of in circles. So how do you plan effectively? Keep it simple. Each night, write down the 3 most important tasks for tomorrow. Just 3, not 30. Start your day with those 3, and you'll be amazed at how much lighter and more accomplished you feel. Another tool is the time audit. Spend a week tracking where your hours actually go. Write it down honestly: work, scrolling, errands, conversations, everything. At the end of the week, look at the patterns. Where are you leaking time? What can you cut? What can you replace with more focused action? Awareness is the first step to change. Now let's talk about rest. Yes, rest is a time management tool. Why? Because focus burns energy. You can't sprint forever. Just like athletes rest between games, your brain needs downtime to recharge. But here's the key. Rest doesn't mean numbing yourself with endless noise. Rest means doing things that actually restore you. Sleep, walks, hobbies, nature, silence, laughter with loved ones. These are not wasted hours. They are investments in your ability to focus tomorrow. Burnout comes when people ignore this truth. They push and push without rest, thinking they're winning the time game, but really, they're draining the tank. And when the tank is empty, focus collapses. So never underestimate the power of renewal. A well-rested hour can be worth more than 3 exhausted ones. Now let's face another obstacle: other people's expectations. The world is full of demands that don't align with your priorities. Friends who want your time, colleagues who add extra work, family who expect certain things. It's not about ignoring people, it's about balancing wisely. The truth is, if you don't set boundaries, people will write your schedule for you. And you'll wake up one day realizing you lived their life instead of your own. Boundaries are not selfish, they are necessary. They protect the space you need for what matters most. Let me say it clearly. Every yes to something unimportant is a no to something essential. Learn to say no with grace, because your future depends on it. Here's a technique. Before saying yes to anything, pause and ask yourself, if I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? That simple question can save you from drowning in obligations. Now let's step back and zoom out. Time management is not just about days, it's about decades. Where do you want to be in 10 years? 20? What legacy do you want to leave? When you think long-term, your short-term decisions become sharper. Suddenly, scrolling for hours feels smaller. Wasting a week feels heavier. Because you realize every moment is part of a much bigger picture. Imagine your future self standing before you, years from now. They look at you with gratitude or with disappointment. Gratitude if you managed your time well and built the life they wanted. Disappointment if you wasted it all. Which version do you want to meet? Because here's the truth. The clock is ticking, and every tick is shaping your future. So let's bring this part home with a challenge. For the next week, I want you to do 3 things. 1. Write down your 3 most important tasks each night for the next day. 2. Protect one block of at least 60 minutes for deep focus every day. No distractions, no multitasking. 3. Track your time honestly, just for 7 days. Do this and you'll start to see where your hours go. You'll feel the difference between distracted time and focused time, and once you feel that difference, you'll never want to go back. Because the truth is simple. Once you taste the power of focus, distraction will never satisfy you again. Let's begin with a question. What would your life look like if you mastered your time completely? Imagine it. You wake up with energy. You know exactly what matters today. You do it without delay, without distraction, without the constant tug of later. By noon, your most important work is done. By evening, you feel accomplished, not drained. You have time for rest, time for loved ones, time for yourself. And when you go to bed, you sleep peacefully because you know the day was well lived. That vision is not a fantasy. It's not reserved for a few lucky people. It's possible for anyone who decides to take their time seriously. So let's go deeper into the skills that make it real. One of the most powerful is the power of small wins. Big goals can feel overwhelming. You want to lose 50 pounds, write 500 pages, save $100,000, build a business from scratch. Looking at the whole mountain can freeze you, but when you break it into steps, each small win fuels the next. This is the secret of focus. You don't climb a mountain in one leap. You climb it step by step. Each step matters. Each step builds confidence, and confidence is what keeps you moving. So when you look at your goals, ask yourself, what is the smallest possible step I can take today? Not next week, not someday. Today, because today is all you ever really have. Maybe that step is writing 1 page, maybe it's saving $10, maybe it's walking around the block. Small steps compound into massive change, but only if you take them consistently. That's how time management turns into life management, by honoring the little choices that build into big results. Now let's talk about urgency. Most people live in a cycle of reacting. Emails, messages, calls, fires to put out. Everything feels urgent, but not everything is important. In fact, most of it isn't. Stephen Covey, the author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, explained this with a simple matrix. Urgent versus important. Urgent things scream for attention. Important things quietly shape your future. The trick is this. If you spend your life reacting to the urgent, you'll never make space for the important. Think about it. Answering emails might feel urgent, but writing your book, exercising, or building your business, those are important, and they rarely come with alarms. That's why so many people neglect them until it's too late. So how do you fight this trap? You schedule your important work before the urgent can steal your attention. You build habits that protect your priorities, even when the noise of life tries to distract you. You remind yourself daily, urgent is loud, but important is powerful. Now let's talk about clarity of vision. Because without vision, even perfect time management is empty. You can be efficient at climbing a ladder, but if it's leaning against the wrong wall, efficiency becomes wasted effort. So stop and ask yourself, where am I going? What kind of life am I building with the way I spend my time? If you don't like the answer, change the direction now. Don't wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. Vision gives focus its purpose. Without vision, focus feels forced. With vision, focus feels natural. Because when you know what you want, distractions lose their shine. Let me share an example. Imagine 2 people given the same book to read. One has no interest in the subject. The other knows that mastering this subject will unlock their dream career. Who do you think will focus more? Who will read deeper, retain more, stay committed? The one with vision. That's why clarity is the first step of focus. Without it, even the best techniques collapse. With it, your mind becomes sharp like a laser. Now let's dive into another enemy of focus, comparison. We live in a world of constant comparison. Social media shows you other people's highlight reels, and suddenly you feel behind. You waste hours watching their progress instead of building your own. But here's the truth. Comparison steals time. Every minute you spend envying someone else is a minute you could have spent improving yourself, and no one else's timeline matters. Your journey is your own. The cure for comparison is gratitude. When you focus on what you already have, you reclaim your attention from envy. Gratitude grounds you in the present. It reminds you, I may not be where I want yet, but I'm further than I was. And every focused step will take me further still. So whenever you feel yourself slipping into comparison, stop. Take a breath. Write down 3 things you're grateful for. Gratitude shifts your perspective, and perspective shapes your time. Now let's get practical again. One of the most powerful habits you can build is the weekly review. Once a week, sit down with your calendar, your notes, your goals. Ask yourself, what went well this week? What wasted my time? What can I do differently next week? This simple practice turns your life into a feedback loop. Instead of drifting, you adjust. Instead of repeating mistakes, you learn. Instead of forgetting wins, you celebrate them. The weekly review is like cleaning the windshield of your car. Without it, you drive blind, guessing where you're going. With it, the road becomes clear. And while we're on the subject of review, let's talk about reflection. Time management is not just about doing, it's also about thinking. Taking time to reflect sharpens your decisions. It stops you from running fast in the wrong direction. So make space, even just 10 minutes a day, to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, did I spend today on what mattered? If the answer is yes, celebrate. If the answer is no, adjust tomorrow. Simple, but life-changing. Now let's tackle discipline. People often think discipline is about force, about pushing yourself with grit every second. But real discipline is not force, it's design. It's shaping your environment, your habits, your routines so that the right choice becomes the easy choice. For example, if you want to eat healthy, don't fill your house with junk food. If you want to read more, keep books where you'll see them. If you want to focus, keep your phone out of reach while you work. That's design. You're not relying on willpower. You're setting yourself up to succeed. Time management becomes much easier when your environment supports your focus. You don't need to fight your impulses every second. You build systems that carry you forward even when motivation dips. Because here's another truth. Motivation will rise and fall. Some days you'll feel unstoppable. Other days you won't want to move. That's normal. That's human. Which is why discipline through design is so powerful. It keeps you consistent, even when you don't feel like it. Consistency beats intensity. Always. Doing a little every day is far more powerful than doing a lot once in a while. That's how time multiplies. That's how dreams become real. Let's talk about distractions again, but from a different angle. Digital distractions. Phones, apps, platforms, they're designed to steal your time. They're engineered to hook your brain, to pull your focus, to make minutes disappear like smoke. And they're very good at it. So you need to fight back. Not with anger, but with awareness. Ask yourself, is this tool serving me or am I serving it? If it's wasting your time, change how you use it. Delete apps, set limits. Keep your phone in another room while you work. Protect your hours like a fortress, because they are worth more than gold. Remember, every scroll is a choice. Every notification you check is a vote for distraction. Every hour online is an hour you could have invested in yourself. But here's the inspiring side. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to eliminate every distraction forever. You just need to win more often than you lose. Win more focused hours than distracted ones. And over time, the balance will transform your life. Before we close this part, let's return to the heart of focus. Presence. Life is not lived in yesterday or tomorrow. It is lived in the now. And the more you practice presence, the richer your time becomes. Presence means when you work fully. When you rest deeply. When you love completely. That's real time management, not just filling hours, but living them with intention. So let me leave you with this thought. Every day is a canvas. You decide what picture to paint. If you let distractions hold the brush, the picture will be scattered and dull. If you take the brush yourself, with focus and intention, the picture will be meaningful. Your time is your art. Paint wisely. Think about this for a moment. Your life is not made of years, it is not made of months, it is not even made of days. Your life is made of moments. How you use those moments is what creates the shape of your existence. That's why mastering your time and your focus is not just about productivity. It's about meaning. It's about building a life you can look back on with pride. So let's go deeper into the mindset that unlocks focus. The first mindset shift is this. Time is not found, it is made. So many people say, I don't have time. But the truth is, we all have the same 24 hours. The difference is not how much time you get. The difference is what you do with it. Time is not found lying around waiting for you. Time is made by choices. When you say yes to one thing, you are always saying no to something else. And often the things we say yes to are not worth the no's we give away. We say yes to scrolling and we say no to progress. We say yes to distractions and we say no to dreams. So here is the key. Before you say yes to anything, ask yourself, what am I saying no to? This simple question will change the way you see your hours, because every yes carries a hidden cost, and the price is always paid in time. The second mindset shift is this: focus is a muscle. Most people treat focus like it's something you either have or don't. But that's not true. Focus is trained. Just like your body gets stronger with exercise, your attention gets sharper with practice. When you first start training your focus, you will get distracted often. That's okay. That's not failure. It's training. Each time you notice the distraction and return to your task, you're building strength. Over time, the distractions lose power and your focus holds longer. So be patient with yourself. Don't expect perfection. Expect progress. And keep showing up again and again, because that's how focus is forged. Now let's talk about another key to time mastery: energy management. Because here's the truth. You don't just need hours, you need energy to use those hours well. What good is an open calendar if you're exhausted? What good is free time if your mind is foggy? So managing your time means managing your body and mind. Sleep is not wasted time, it's the foundation of focus. Movement is not optional, it's fuel for your brain. Nutrition is not just about health, it's about clarity, discipline, and stamina. Think of yourself as an athlete of focus. Athletes don't just train their skills, they train their bodies, their rest, their routines. You must do the same. Guard your energy as fiercely as you guard your hours. Because here's the reality: when your energy is high, a single hour of focused work can achieve more than 5 hours of tired struggle. Protect your energy, and your time becomes more powerful. Now let's go back to the idea of small wins, because it connects deeply with focus. There's something magical that happens when you complete a task. Your brain releases dopamine, a reward chemical. It feels good. That feeling motivates you to keep going. This is why finishing tasks, even small ones, builds momentum. That's why making your bed in the morning is not trivial. It signals to your brain, I complete things, I take control. It sets the tone for the day. So don't underestimate small wins. Stack them. Build them. Let them carry you into bigger victories. Another powerful tool for time mastery is batching. Batching means grouping similar tasks together so your brain doesn't have to switch gears constantly. For example, instead of checking email 20 times a day, set 2 times to check and process all of them at once. Instead of cooking 3 times a day, prepare meals in one session. Each switch of attention carries a hidden tax. Your brain takes time to adjust. By batching tasks, you reduce the switching cost and reclaim more focus for meaningful work. And while we're on the subject of switching, let's talk about multitasking. Many people think multitasking makes them productive, but science shows the opposite. Multitasking is a lie. When you multitask, you're not doing 2 things at once, you're switching rapidly between them, and each switch costs focus. So the cure is simple: do one thing at a time. If you're working, work. If you're resting, rest. If you're with someone, be with them fully. Presence is power, and multitasking destroys presence. Now, let's address something we all face: procrastination. Why do we procrastinate? It's not because we're lazy. It's because of fear. Fear of failure. Fear of not being perfect. Fear of discomfort. So we delay, we wait, we tell ourselves, I'll start when I feel ready. But here's the truth: you'll never feel fully ready. The only cure for procrastination is action. Not big action, not perfect action, just action. When you start even small, fear loses its grip. Progress creates momentum, and momentum kills procrastination. So when you catch yourself delaying, shrink the task. Make it so small you can't say no. Don't promise yourself to write a book. Promise yourself to write 1 sentence. Don't promise to run a marathon. Promise yourself to put on your shoes. Tiny starts lead to unstoppable progress. Now let's explore the power of deadlines. Deadlines sharpen focus. Without them, tasks expand endlessly. With them, tasks shrink into shape. Have you ever noticed how you can finish something in an hour if the deadline is tomorrow, but the same task takes weeks when there's no deadline? That's Parkinson's law. Work expands to fill the time given. So give yourself deadlines, even artificial ones. Set a timer for 90 minutes and commit to finishing within it. The pressure will sharpen your mind, and when the timer rings, you'll feel the energy of completion. But remember, deadlines are not just about speed. They're about boundaries. They remind you that time is precious and that tasks must fit into life, not consume it endlessly. Let's also talk about environment. Focus thrives in the right environment. Think of it like a seed. A seed can't grow in concrete. It needs soil, water, sunlight. In the same way, your focus needs an environment that supports it. What does that mean? It means cleaning your workspace so your mind feels clear. It means surrounding yourself with people who respect your goals instead of pulling you away. It means designing routines that create rhythm and flow. Your environment is shaping you, whether you notice it or not. So design it with intention. Make it a garden where focus can grow. Now let's bring in another powerful principle, the rule of one thing. At any given time, there is one thing that matters most. Not 10, not 5, 1. Your job is to identify it and give it your full attention. Ask yourself, if I only accomplished one thing today, what would matter most? Once you know it, do it first. Protect it. That one thing becomes your anchor. Too many people scatter their focus across dozens of tasks and wonder why nothing gets finished. But when you choose one thing and give it everything, progress becomes inevitable. Remember this, you can do anything, but you cannot do everything. So choose your one thing wisely and let it guide your day. Before we close this section, let's talk about the role of rest. Because focus is not about pushing non-stop. Focus is about rhythm. Even the heart beats in rhythm. Squeeze, release, squeeze, release. Without the release, the squeeze would kill you. Rest is not weakness. Rest is strategy. When you rest well, your mind returns sharper, your body stronger, your focus deeper. So don't feel guilty for resting. Feel guilty for ignoring it. True productivity is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters and doing it well. And you can't do it well if you never recharge. So to master your time, master your rest. Sleep fully. Pause daily. Breathe deeply. Step away when needed and return renewed. Because in the end, time management and focus are not about cramming more into your days. They're about creating a life of balance, clarity, and purpose. Your hours are precious. Guard them. Shape them. Live them with intention. And always remember this, you cannot control the length of your life, but you can control the depth of it, and depth is created through focus. Think back to the last time you felt completely absorbed in something. Maybe it was reading a great book. Maybe it was working on a project that excited you. Maybe it was playing a sport, painting, writing, or even solving a puzzle. Hours went by, but it felt like minutes. That is called flow. Flow is one of the highest states of focus a human can experience. It's when time seems to bend, distractions vanish, and your energy locks fully into the task at hand. And here's the beautiful part. You can design your life to experience more of it. Flow happens when challenge meets skill. If something is too easy, you get bored. If it's too hard, you get anxious. But when it's right in that sweet spot where your abilities are tested just enough, you get lost in the work. So ask yourself, how can I structure my tasks to hit that sweet spot? How can I make my work engaging enough to pull me in, but not so overwhelming that it paralyzes me? That's how you build more flow into your life. Flow also requires focus without interruption. Every time you break concentration, you fall out of the zone. That's why protecting your focus is not just about finishing tasks. It's about reaching the mental state where time multiplies. Now, let's move to another powerful concept, identity-based focus. Many people try to change their behavior by forcing themselves. They say, I need to work harder. I need to stop procrastinating. I need to be more disciplined. But the strongest change happens not from willpower, but from identity. Ask yourself, who do I want to be? Not just what do I want to do today, but who am I becoming through my daily actions? For example, instead of saying, I need to read more, you say, I am a reader. Instead of, I need to exercise, you say, I am an athlete of focus. Instead of, I need to manage my time better, you say, I am the kind of person who honors my time. Identity shapes behavior. When your actions flow from who you believe you are, discipline becomes natural. So if you struggle with time management, don't just chase new tricks. Begin with identity. See yourself as someone who values time deeply. Every action you take will reinforce that belief. Now let's talk about the power of saying no. Your time is limited, but the demands on it are endless. If you don't protect it, others will fill it with their priorities. Learning to say no is one of the greatest skills you can develop. Saying no does not mean you're selfish. It means you're aware. It means you understand that every yes steals from something else. It means you value your time enough to use it intentionally. When you say no, you create space for your deepest yes. And that yes should always align with your vision. Of course, saying no is hard. We fear disappointing people. We fear missing opportunities. But here's the truth. Every no is also a yes. When you say no to distraction, you say yes to focus. When you say no to overcommitment, you say yes to balance. So practice it. Start small. Decline something that doesn't align with your goals. Feel the freedom that comes with it. With time, your no will become a shield that protects your focus. Another key principle of time mastery is tracking. You can't improve what you don't measure. If you want to manage your time better, you need to see where it's going. Most people underestimate how much time they waste. Hours disappear into phones, into television, into meaningless tasks. So for 1 week, track your time. Write down how you spend each hour. Be honest. At the end of the week, look at the record. You'll be surprised. You'll see patterns you didn't notice. And those patterns are the key to change. Once you know where your time goes, you can redirect it. You can cut what doesn't matter. You can double down on what does. Awareness is the first step of mastery. Now let's explore another mindset, long-term focus versus short-term distraction. Your brain craves immediate rewards. That's why scrolling is addictive. It gives you a hit of novelty, of stimulation, instantly. But real success comes from delayed gratification. It comes from trading short-term pleasure for long-term gain. So the question becomes, can you train yourself to value tomorrow more than today? Can you resist the quick distraction for the deeper reward? This is not about denying yourself joy. It's about choosing the joy that lasts longer than a moment. The joy of progress, the joy of achievement, the joy of growth. Every time you resist distraction, you are building the muscle of patience. And patience is the foundation of greatness. Now let's talk about systems. Goals are important, but systems keep you moving. A goal is the finish line, but a system is the daily habit that gets you there. For example, your goal might be to write a book. Your system is writing 500 words a day. Your goal might be to get fit. Your system is exercising 4 times a week. Your goal might be to build wealth. Your system is saving and investing consistently. Goals give direction, but systems give progress. Without systems, goals remain wishes. With systems, goals become inevitable. So when you think about focus, don't just ask, what's my goal? Ask, what system will I build to move toward it daily? Because your system is where time management lives. Let's touch on another obstacle, perfectionism. Perfectionism destroys time. It tells you not to start until conditions are perfect. It tells you to spend hours polishing details that don't matter. It tells you that if you can't do it flawlessly, you shouldn't do it at all. But life is not about perfect, it's about progress. Every master started messy. Every expert began as a beginner. Perfection is a mirage, you'll never reach it. But progress is always within reach. So shift your focus from perfect to better. Ask yourself daily, how can I be a little better than yesterday? That question builds a life of steady improvement, and steady improvement is the true path to excellence. Now let's revisit the idea of presence, because presence is not just about focus, it's about joy. Too many people live always looking ahead or looking back. They miss the moment they're in, and yet the moment you're in is the only one that's real. Time management is not just about cramming productivity into every second. It's about savoring the seconds you have. It's about being fully alive in the now. So when you work, pour yourself into it. When you eat, taste the food fully. When you spend time with someone, give them your full attention. This is not just focus, it's fulfillment. Because in the end, a well-managed life is not just efficient. It is meaningful, it is rich, it is lived with depth, not just speed. And that brings us to a final thought for this section, urgency of life itself. Time is not infinite. None of us knows how many days we have. That's not meant to scare you. It's meant to awaken you. Every day you waste is a day you never get back. Every distraction you indulge is a piece of your life you trade away. The question is, are you trading it for something worthy? When you see your time as finite, you begin to treasure it. You begin to guard it. You begin to use it with intention. So let urgency awaken you. Don't wait to manage your time someday. Someday is not a day on the calendar. Someday is where dreams go to die. The time to take control is now. Your hours are your life. Your focus is your power. Use them wisely, and you will create a life of meaning, impact, and joy. Let's begin with a truth that most people avoid. Time will pass no matter what you do. Whether you act with purpose or drift aimlessly, the clock keeps moving. You cannot stop it. You cannot slow it. You cannot bargain with it. But you can decide how to use it. And that decision, what you do with each moment, is what separates a life of fulfillment from a life of regret. So let's talk about regret for a moment. When people reach the end of their lives, they don't usually regret what they did. They regret what they didn't do, the dreams they didn't chase, the conversations they didn't have, the moments they didn't fully live. And almost every regret comes back to time. Wasted time, misused time, time given to fear, to distraction, to the expectations of others, instead of the calling of the heart. But you don't have to wait until the end to learn that lesson. You can live it now. You can take control now. You can manage your time so that regret has no place in your story. Now let's focus on another enemy of time: busyness. Busyness is the illusion of progress. You feel productive because you're busy, but in truth, you're just spinning. You check tasks off a list that doesn't matter. You answer messages that could wait. You attend meetings with no purpose. Being busy is not the same as being effective. In fact, busyness often hides the fear of doing what truly matters, because the work that matters is often the hardest, the work that forces you to stretch, to risk, to face failure. So here's the rule: never confuse movement with progress. Always ask, am I moving in the right direction, or am I just moving to avoid standing still? The cure for busyness is focus. The courage to cut what doesn't matter, the discipline to say no to noise, the wisdom to choose depth over distraction. Another key idea: time expands or contracts based on attention. Have you ever noticed how an hour spent doing something boring feels endless, while an hour doing something you love disappears in a blink? That's because your brain measures time not by minutes but by meaning. So when you fill your hours with meaningful work, time feels richer. Life feels longer. When you fill them with empty distractions, time slips by unnoticed, and suddenly you wonder where the years went. Meaning expands time. Distraction erases it. That's why focus is not just a tool for productivity, it's a tool for living longer in the moments you have. Now let's explore decision fatigue. Every choice you make drains mental energy. That's why you feel tired at the end of the day, even if you didn't do much physical work. The more small decisions you waste your energy on, the less focus you have for big ones. The solution? Automate and simplify. Decide once and remove the choice from your daily life. For example, set a morning routine you follow automatically. Plan your meals for the week instead of deciding daily. Set fixed times for exercise, work, and rest. Every decision you remove frees energy for the decisions that matter. That's how leaders, creators, and thinkers protect their focus. They don't waste willpower on trivia. They save it for impact. Now let's talk about momentum again, but this time from the perspective of consistency. Consistency is the compound interest of focus. Just as money multiplies when you invest regularly, effort multiplies when you act consistently. 1 hour a day for a year is 365 hours. That's over 9 full work weeks. Imagine what you could achieve with that much focused time invested in one skill, one dream, one project. But here's the catch. Consistency only happens when you make the process enjoyable. If your system feels like punishment, you won't stick with it. If it feels rewarding, you'll return again and again. So build systems that you actually like. Find joy in the process, not just the outcome. That joy is what fuels consistency. Now let's explore accountability. Focus is easier when someone else is holding you to it. When you commit to yourself, it's easy to break the promise. But when you commit to someone else, you push harder. Find accountability partners, share your goals, Set check-ins. Build a community where focus is supported, not sabotaged. Because while focus is personal, it is not always solitary. We are social creatures. The right people can pull us higher. The wrong people can pull us down. Choose your circle carefully. Another enemy of time is indecision. How many hours have you wasted not acting, but thinking about acting? Not choosing, but circling around choices? Indecision kills time silently. It feels like thinking, but it's really fear in disguise. The cure is imperfect action. Choose. Act. Adjust later. You'll waste far less time fixing a wrong decision than you will waste avoiding any decision. Remember this. Clarity comes through action, not before it. Now let's turn to focus rituals. The human brain loves ritual. Rituals signal to your mind, it's time to focus. For some, it might be making coffee. For others, it might be turning off the phone, putting on headphones, or writing a to-do list. Find a ritual that signals the start of focused work. Repeat it daily. Over time, your brain will associate the ritual with focus, and dropping into deep work will become easier. This is how you train your mind to work for you, not against you. Now let's talk about celebration. Celebration may not sound like time management, but it is. Because when you celebrate progress, you reinforce it. When you acknowledge wins, even small ones, you train your brain to crave more. Too many people delay celebration until the big goal is reached, but that starves motivation. Learn to celebrate along the way. Finished a tough task? Celebrate. Stuck to your schedule for a week? Celebrate. Resisted a distraction? Celebrate. Celebration keeps the journey alive, and a journey fueled by joy lasts longer than one fueled only by discipline. Now let's move into something deeper. The story you tell yourself about time. Do you say, "I'm always late, I'm never organized, I'm terrible with focus"? If so, your brain believes you. The story you tell yourself becomes the prison you live in, but you can rewrite the story. You can tell yourself, "I value my time, I am learning focus, I am someone who manages my hours well." At first, it may feel like a lie, but with action, the story becomes truth. Never underestimate the power of self-talk. Words shape identity, identity shapes focus, and focus shapes your life. Before we close this section, let's revisit the simplest truth of all. Today is everything. Not tomorrow, not yesterday, today. You cannot change the past, you cannot control the future, but you can shape today. And when you shape today, you shape your future. So stop waiting, stop planning endlessly. Stop saying someday, focus on today, manage today, master today, because when you master today, you master life. Think of your life as a story. Every story has chapters. Some are long, some are short, but every chapter carries the story forward. Your time is the same way. Every day is a page in the book of your life. If you use your time well, your story becomes inspiring, full of growth and progress. If you waste your time, your story fills with blank pages that no one, not even you, will care to read later. The good news is that you are the author. You decide how the next chapter unfolds. Time management is not about stuffing your day with endless tasks. It is not about being busy just for the sake of being busy. It is about being intentional. It is about asking yourself, what really matters today? What actions will bring me closer to the life I want? When you live with intention, even small tasks carry great meaning. Making one important phone call, writing one page of your book, studying for just one focused hour, these actions may seem small today, but together they build a future you will be proud of. Let's talk about the power of saying no. Many people struggle with time management not because they are lazy, but because they say yes too often. They say yes to extra work they don't need. They say yes to events they don't want to attend. They say yes to distractions disguised as opportunities. Every time you say yes to something unimportant, you are saying no to something meaningful. Learning to say no is not about being rude. It is about protecting your limited time. It is about creating space for what truly matters. Imagine your time as a jar. Inside this jar, you need to fit rocks, pebbles, and sand. The rocks are your most important things: your health, your relationships, your personal growth, your goals. The pebbles are useful tasks like paying bills, replying to emails, or running errands. The sand is all the little distractions: social media, gossip, endless scrolling. If you fill the jar with sand first, there will be no room for rocks. But if you place the rocks first, then the pebbles, the sand can slip in around them. This is how time works. Put your biggest priorities in first. If you don't, they will never fit. Focus is a skill, not a gift. It is not something you are born with or without. It is something you practice. Just like lifting weights builds muscles, practicing focus strengthens your attention. When you sit down to work, remove distractions. Put your phone away. Close unnecessary tabs. Create a clear space around you. Then choose one task and give it your full attention. At first, your mind will wander. That's natural. Gently bring it back. Every time you do this, you're training your brain to focus longer and deeper. Over time, your focus will become a powerful tool. Let's face it, the modern world is full of distractions. Your phone is designed to grab your attention. Notifications are built to steal your time. Social media is crafted to keep you scrolling for hours. If you want to control your time, you must control your environment. Do not rely on willpower alone. Willpower is like a muscle, it gets tired. Instead, design your surroundings to support your focus. Turn off notifications. Use apps that block distractions. Keep your workspace clean and simple. Make it easier to focus than to drift away. Time is not just about productivity, it is about energy. If your energy is low, even the best time management system will fail. That is why rest, sleep, exercise, and good nutrition are not optional. They are the foundation. Imagine trying to run a marathon without water. You would collapse. The same is true with focus. If your body and mind are exhausted, you cannot expect yourself to perform at your best. Respect your energy. Protect it. Refill it daily. That is how you sustain focus for the long run. Sometimes, the best way to manage your time is to pause, to step back, to reflect. Ask yourself regularly, am I spending my time on the right things, or am I busy with things that do not matter? Reflection allows you to realign your actions with your purpose. Without reflection, you risk running fast in the wrong direction. But when you pause, when you think deeply, you can correct your course and ensure your time is invested wisely. Remember, every day is a fresh opportunity. The past is gone. You cannot change it. The future is not promised. The only moment you can control is now. Right here. Right now. What will you do with this moment? Will you use it to move closer to your dreams, or will you let it slip away unnoticed? The choice is always yours. And the choice you make, again and again, becomes your destiny. And now we arrive at the final truth. The truth you have known deep down all along. Time is not simply hours, minutes, or seconds. Time is life itself. Every tick of the clock is a beat of your heart. Every sunrise and every sunset is one less chance to do what you came here to do. When you waste your time, you are not just wasting a number on the clock, you are wasting pieces of your existence. Think about it. If someone stole your wallet, you would feel angry. If someone took your money, you would fight to get it back. Yet every day, distractions, procrastination, and meaningless activities steal the most valuable thing you own, your time. And you barely notice. But here is the miracle. You can take it back. You can reclaim your time, reclaim your focus, reclaim your life. Focus is not about ignoring the world, it's about choosing what matters most. Time management is not about squeezing tasks into a planner, it's about designing a life worth living. Together, they form the keys to freedom. Freedom from chaos, freedom from regret, freedom from mediocrity. So what will you do now? Will you drift through the rest of your life, carried by distraction, regret, and wasted hours? Or will you stand up, take the wheel, and drive your own destiny? This is the defining moment. Right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not someday. Right now. Remember this. Life will not wait for you to be ready. Opportunities will not pause while you scroll, while you hesitate, while you postpone. Time moves with or without you. And the greatest tragedy is not that life is short. The tragedy is that too many people live it unfocused, unintentional, and asleep. But that does not have to be you. You can wake up, you can choose. You can design a life where every hour counts, every day matters, and every year builds a legacy. You can live a life so focused, so intentional, that when the final chapter comes, you will smile, because you will know, I lived fully. I did not waste it. I used my time well. And here is the mind-blowing truth. If you master your time, you master your life. If you master your focus, you master your destiny. Nothing will be impossible for you. The world belongs to those who value their hours, those who protect their focus, those who live each day with burning clarity. So rise. Begin. Step into your power, guard your time as fiercely as your life, because it is your life. And when you do, the future will open wide, the impossible will bend, and your story will be remembered not as a tale of wasted hours, but as a masterpiece of intention. The clock is ticking. Your moment is now. Choose wisely.